Hi everyone. In this video, let's try to understand how can we update the OS or how do we patch our OS using update management. And this is the most widely used tool in Azure in terms of patching the OSs. So most of the VMs which we actually use it for specific workloads, we don't enable the updating the OS automatically. Instead, we prefer to manually update the OS. So what is updating the OS? So just like in Windows, if you see Windows update, that means that we are updating the OS to the latest updates what the Microsoft has been providing. So when we are having like many virtual machines, like thousands of virtual machines or hundreds of virtual machines, how do we ensure that we can update the VMs with ease, understanding which is failing, which is actually working out, and which is in a position to be updated, which is already good, already in good in place and everything. And just not that, we can even update our on-prem VMs or the VMs which are there in the other subscription too. Okay, so this is update management is in fact a very powerful tool, right, which is provided by Azure, and we specifically use it only for the purpose of virtual machines patching. So when we get to the next topic, how does the update management work? So there will be specific extensions installed in the virtual machine. So whenever you enable an update management solution to virtual machines, a specific extension will be installed. For a Linux machines, there will be a Linux monitoring extension, and similarly for the Windows, there will be a Windows monitoring extension, and those will be pulling the data and everything and ingesting that into the log analytics workspace, and will be communicating with the update management will be communicating with the log analytics workspace to get that entire data and accordingly decide what are the configurations or updates which are missing, and when was the update was being updated and everything. So here, the update management works in this way. So we can run some pre-steps before we running the updates, and then we can perform the updates, whichever the specific updates we wanted to perform, like security updates or critical updates, everything. So that is one of the the update assessment we will do. We'll first see if the VM is up to date and everything in the review update assessment, and then we'll check which are the updates which are missing and what are the types of updates. Should we want that, we'll select that specific updates and define at what point of time we will schedule a update deployment, and then we'll review the status, how did it go and everything. Because when the work VMs are actually running in a specific workload, we don't want to run the updates when during the critical business hours. So usually we prefer once in a month, that too on a Tuesdays, and during the late night between 12 to 2, and that's why we mention it as patch Tuesdays. So during the Tuesdays once in a month, we patch the machines which are there, and we all will mention to the set of people that we are patching the servers. And when we are preferring patching the servers, we specifically choose set of workloads of a specific region on the Tuesdays during that time, late night, and then we patch it. And that's how a bunch of servers will be together be updated and everything. And this update management doesn't really matter in terms of the VMs are residing in one different region and all that. If at all the VMs, when you're updates enabling the update management solution, if they are linked to one log analytics workspace, and that is a log analytics workspace where the update management is pulling, then you will be in a position to update the solution, update the VMs. And so here, if you see, when you're trying to perform updates, you can actually perform on Linux machines or Microsoft machines, or what specific updates you wanted to do. Based on that, you can actually perform updates, and the updates are being actually triggered by automation account when you have scheduled a point of time. So the status tracking, and the scheduled time of deployment, and the updating getting updated in all the servers which you have preferred, and what type of updates you wanted to do, everything can be done at ease using update management solution. So let's get into the how, let's see how will we update the enable the update management solution. So when you have created a virtual machine, you can select the virtual machine and you can go into the update section in the blade of operations blade, and then if you go and select the go to updates using automation, and then it will ask you to select an a log analytics workspace. So if you already have updated the an update management, then you will be, once you select this option, you will be seeing a different panel. But in case if you didn't enable the update management solution, you have to, you will see this option when you click on the update using automation. And as I mentioned, you have to go and specifically mention one specific workspace only for all the VMs when you wanted to manage that from the update management. Otherwise, you end up creating another management solution, update management solution from another automation account. And once you click on enable, and you will be, from next time, once you see the machines which are having update management solution already enabled, you will see, instead of when you clicked on go to man updates, updates using automation, instead of seeing this one, you will be, after you are enabled, you will further seeing from that point of time being seeing this one. So you will, here you will see what is the current status of it. Is it compliant or not compliant? At this point of time, when I created the virtual machine, I still, it was not assessed, so you have question mark. But if the compliance is there, then it will show as a green tick mark. If it is not compliant, it shows a red tick mark. And what are the updates which are missing? The update names, everything you can see. If there is already an update scheduled at what point of time, you will check whether the missing updates are being covered or not, and do you are you good with that? So in organization, people will be reviewing which machines to be updated based on this compliance section. And the next one is, how do you trigger and the other way of checking. So it's just not one virtual machine, you'll go into each virtual machine and check, right? But if you wanted to check all the virtual machines compliance status and everything, the other way is going to automation accounts, and select the update management, and there you can actually select which is compliant and which is not compliant, and you'll get the entire list of machines which are being enabled for the update management, and you can actually review which are being not been compliant, and then you can trigger a non update solution for that. So if you wanted to add Azure VMs for enabling the update management, everything, you can select on this. If you are, it's non-Azure VMs, the on-prem VMs, you can actually select this option. And this option is the one which will schedule a deployment. So how do you create an update deployment? So you select this option once you go into automation accounts, or even you can go inside a virtual machine and select on updating the update scheduling the deployment for this machine. So how do you schedule the deployment? So that's where I'm getting into it. Uh, you schedule a deployment using sorry for that, there was a minor confusion. uh, so if we go with this update management solution, we can actually, when you select this option, schedule a deployment, you will see another page opening up, a blade opening up, where it will say give the deployment schedule name, and then mention which operating systems are those VMs. So you can actually either choose a Windows or a Linux, and then select a group of machines or only specific machines from the group of VMs which are being non-compliant. So when you select a groups of list, you can actually use tags, or based on the resource groups. You can select bunch of machines in the resource group, or you can select based on the tagging convention. So some machines will be created for DevOps agents, some machines will be created for development purpose, some machines will be created for testing purpose, and all that. So the tags will be there for a virtual machine. You can, based on the group selection, you can select the tags or resource groups, or you can specifically choose which virtual machines to be triggered for a scheduled deployment, and you can use this option for that. And which updates you wanted to, do you wanted to perform critical updates or security updates and all that, you can use the update classifications for that. And which you wanted, which updates you wanted to include, specifically the KB file. So when we say the security updates, there will be list of updates, so in that, which you wanted to include, which you to exclude, you can mention the KB file numbers from there, and then you can schedule the time and everything using the schedule settings, and then which scripts should be run before the updates to happen, which scripts should be run after the updates have happened in the machine. So you can run the pre-scripts and post-scripts, and then you can schedule a time window, maintenance window time, and then you can schedule a reboot if required, or if you don't want to reboot after the Windows and everything. So this is how it works. So this, if you want me to show in terms of an automation account, so if you have a virtual machine which doesn't have an update management in place, you go into update section. When you click on go to updates, you have to select the update, enable update, and remember that the virtual machine should be running, otherwise you don't see this option of enabling the update. And if your machine is already running and everything, and you have enabled the updates, then you will, when you click on go to updates with automation, you will see the status. What is the status? Is it complaint or not complaint and everything. Now when you want to schedule a deployment for this virtual machine alone, you can click on this and you can schedule a deployment. No, you wanted to manage multiple machines, instead of, you can't manually go and see thousands of virtual machines, list each of it and all that. Then you prefer to go to an automation account, and then you go to the update management here, and you'll see the list of machines which are compliant and non-compliant. So if you select this, I can get which are not compliant, and I can select which are not compliant. I can I can take a list of it, and I will trigger a deployment for that. So this is how we can actually do the check the updates and everything. Now, when I said that if there are Windows machines or Linux machines, you can go and select that. And then I selected a group of machines. So if you see, based on tags I can prefer, or based on the resource groups I can prefer, and I can add the machines, or I can actually individually select some machines, and I can prefer to update that which are machines to be updated. And the next one is which updates I wanted. We usually organization won't prefer every update. They prefer security settings and feature redefinition updates and some updates. So, and which specific KB files you can ask to exclude that or include that while you are doing an update, instead of preferring this option of update classification management and everything. So that's how even we can trigger the deployments, and what time you wanted to schedule this deployment, and is it a recurring update, or if it's not once. Usually we keep it once and we trigger it that point of time, and you can set the prescripts and postscripts at what time you wanted to run this. Before the updates are the prescripts, and after the updates, what scripts have to run is the postscripts. And as I mentioned, you can select the options of reboot. So after the updates are done, if you wanted to reboot, you can reboot, or if you don't want to reboot, you can choose the option never reboot, and you can manually go and prefer which ones to be rebooted and everything. So this is how you can trigger an update management. So I am going to upload one more. We have already one video which where we have performed the updates and everything. I will actually upload that in this playlist. So you can let me know if you have any questions. Thank you.